came to the UK, I never knew that by completing the 15 standard of care training that I can work as a care assistant and at the same time as a support worker. Then I found an agency and they started sending me into different places. I worked in a residential care home, in a nursing home, in a supported accommodation living, just with the same training. Guys, that is why I am sharing these 10 essentials that you should know if you have interest to work as a care assistant or as a nurse. In no particular order, number 10 on my list is as a care assistant, you should know the different health care settings you'll be working. Here in the UK, we have residential care home, nursing care home, palliative and hospice care, respite care. We have hospitals, mental facilities, day centers, just to mention a few. Now, your role as a care assistant depends on the facility you are working. For instance, a senior carer in a residential home may be able to administer medication. However, if she's working in a nursing home, she will not be allowed to carry out the same procedure. These differences also apply if you're working as a support worker, where your role mostly is to encourage and prompt these people to do things for themselves. Whereas if you are a care assistant working in dementia units, over there you are actively involved with assisting those residents to meet their activities of daily living. For example, personal care, which includes but not limited to bathing, dressing, toileting, oral care. You can also do things like position change, feeding, emotional support, etc. Now, irrespective of where you are working, as a care assistant, your major role is to assist those you are taking care of to do things that they cannot do for themselves, okay? Number 9 on my list is ethical consideration. Here, I'll be discussing about respect and autonomy, equality and diversity, duty of care, confidentiality, and lastly, we'll look at boundaries, all right? As regards to respect and autonomy, as a care assistant, you are to promote the dignity of any individual you are taking care of at all times. You are to respect their decisions, especially if they have capacity. And you are to obtain consent from them before you carry out any procedure, okay? So guys, once a resident is admitted in a care home, as an example, there are a series of assessments that are completed on these residents. And one of them is the mental health capacity, okay? This is where they determine if this person can make informed decisions relating to their health. Once this is decided, it is detailed on their care plan to say if they have capacity or not. So as a care assistant, if you're taking care of any individual, let's say you went into to complete a personal care on, for this video, we'll say Mary, and Mary says no. You are meant to prompt and encourage them, but you are to respect their final decision, okay? If the same principle is applied on someone that have dementia, of course, there are other assessments that will be completed on that individual that will give you the upper hand to act in their best interest. Now, you are to use the least force available to accomplish this best interest implementation. And moving on to equality and diversity, as a care assistant, you are expected to give the same quality of care to all your residents, regardless of their age, gender, social belief, social status, religious belief. You have no right to be biased on your care. Take for example, in your care home, you have a 20-year-old man and a 50 or 70-year-old resident. You wouldn't, because the 70-year-old is older, you put his needs last and attend more to the one of 20 years. No. By right, you have the same quality and standard of duty of care to all your residents, okay? Let's look at confidentiality now. In a care home, once any resident is admitted, it is stated on their care plan which of his relatives have the lasting power of attorney or the next of kin. Anytime where there is incident regarding that resident, that is the person you should contact, okay? However, again, if they have capacity, you are to obtain consent. You are to go to them and ask them if they would like you to inform their family. Because I've had cases where in my previous workplace, someone had a phone and the carer just decided to go straight on to inform the family. The president wasn't happy because he has capacity to make such decision. He wasn't happy about it. Okay. Moving on to number 8, I have employment rights and contracts. Guys, once you are successful with your interview, the company will issue you a detailed written contract regarding your job. In there, you have your name, your title, your pay, your sick leave, you have your duties, your annual leave, maternity and paternity leave. Take your time to read those contracts, okay? Now, let me use annual leave as an example. I have seen people in workplaces that didn't know that they are entitled to a paid leave. Now, depending on how many hours you are working, that will give you the total number of days you're meant to have as paid leave. Okay, for myself, I was doing a 4 days, but now I currently do 3 days. Okay, so I have over 180 hours in a year. Okay, so depending on where you're working, again, the calendar might run from April to April. My calendar expires on October. So what this means is, if I don't take my annual leave before October, I will lose all of them. So imagine, let's assume I am getting £10 per hour and I lose 180 hours. That is £1,800, guys, to go and sit at home and you get paid for it. I am making emphasis on this because I've seen people lose their annual leave. In fact, myself, I lost my annual leave when I had my first baby. I took 1 year and I came back around September after my baby's birthday. My annual leave expired October. So my manager was good. She gave me, a very quick annual leave, 2 weeks to go and have my break, but I lost the remaining ones. So do your calculations very well. You don't want to be losing money. I don't want to lose money. Okay, moving on to the next on my list, I have cultural considerations. Here I'll be discussing about beliefs and values, family involvement, gender and modesty, end of life plan, personal space. Guys, let me start with this personal space first. I know you must have seen in the news, or even if you haven't, I am telling you now, people get sacked for trespassing each other's personal space. So there are some words that you should not use on your colleagues or on the residents. There are some boundaries that you should not break, like things like touch. It is very sensitive, so be careful when you want to use such in your workplace. Okay, so now let's look at beliefs and values. As a care assistant, you're going to take care of people that have different beliefs. My dear, your duty of care is to take care of them, notwithstanding what they believe in. Okay, so in this note again, I'm going to emphasize, don't pray for your residents. If you believe in prayer, don't carry it to your workplace. People lose their job because of this. Okay, let's look at gender and modesty. Guys, what gender that person decides to identify with is not your problem. Your major concern is to give the same quality of care to them. Last on this cultural consideration is end of life plan. When I came to the UK, I won't even lie, this topic, the way people freely talk about it, I'll be like, you will see someone that is healthy, there's nothing wrong with them, and they'll be making plans on where they want to be buried, what they want to wear when they die. As a carer or as a nurse, you have to get all those information ready when you are taking care of your residents. You should know what they want and detail it on their care plan. And the next thing I would like you to know as a care assistant is person-centered care. This one is one of the regular interview questions. You will see it literally on any nursing or care assistant interview question. That is because here, as a care assistant, you are expected to use the holistic approach when treating your residents. You are meant to be flexible and adapt to their changing needs. And also in the person-centered care, you are to have an individualized care plan. Guys, just like you and myself, we have what we like and what we hate. Likewise, these residents that are poorly, because they are sick, does not mean that they must accept what Mr. B is eating. So you must attend to their different needs when it comes to their eating. Some of them have preferences on how they want to eat, on how they want to be addressed. So as a care assistant or as a nurse, you must look into this and follow the detailed, individualized care plan that has been laid in place regarding that resident. Myself, I have made an error before when I started working. I went to a workplace, and because I work as a care assistant and a support worker, I went in with my ginger. My own was to go and help. But I was doing the wrong thing, because in that person's care plan, he is to make his breakfast himself. It doesn't matter how many hours he used to do it. He is meant to eat by himself. I am not meant to offer any form of assistance. But me now, I came in straight on. I went and did breakfast. That is not an individualized care. Because you went to care home B and you did breakfast for those people there, does not mean that when you go to care home C, you should do breakfast for that person. So know what they want once you start working. Okay? So number 7 on my list is mental health and well-being. Guys, no doubt, care assistant job is very rewarding, but at the same time, it can be stressful. When you start having symptoms like this, I'll be listing. It is time to check yourself. Forgetfulness, chest pain, fatigue, lack of interest in what you used to love. Let's say you're a YouTuber and you like to make videos, and all of a sudden you start losing interest in those videos. My dear, check your stress level. Forgetfulness, stomach upset. Now let me tell you my own experience. This is what happened to me, not hearsay. I've told you before, I used to do 4 days, right? So we moved city and we came into a new place. I started working. I wasn't adapting at all because I was still doing my 4 days. It's a new place. Unlike where I was coming from, I had friends, I have family that put in their support here and there. And before then, my mom was around. She used to support me with child care. But when she left, I knew the part of having a baby in the UK, it was so stressful, combining it with work. My husband is working and all that. I wasn't coping at all. At first, I was having severe chest pain. I had to go to my manager. That is where you have to seek for help. Speak out. Don't die in silence. I went to my manager. God bless her. She's a lovely person. And I told her, your staff is not coping. I need to change my working hours. I was doing 4, so we took 1 day off to make it 3 days to see how I feel. Do you know when I started doing my 3 days, all those complaints of chest pain and fatigue, tiredness, they all gone. They left. I didn't experience it no more. Hallelujah. So guys, don't start thinking you are sick or maybe there's something wrong with you, because they won't find out anything. No matter how many times you go to your GP, all he will recommend, if he knows the symptom, will be for you to rest. If not, you keep repeating GP visits and hospital visits. They won't find out anything. There have been cases of care workers collapsing at work as well. So your mental health and well-being is very important when it comes to you being a care assistant. Utilize your annual leave as much as you can. Plan it in a way that it will suit you to have some rest throughout the years. UK can be stressful, my dear. So moving on to number 4, I would love to talk about the induction and training you will get here as a care assistant once you start working. Here in the UK, they have an induction period where you're meant to get to know the company. So what they do once you come in, you are not counted as a number on the floor, so you don't start working immediately. Okay, you are paired with an experienced person that will show you around. They will take off some of your assessments to make sure that you met the required training. Okay, also you have a mandatory training that you have to do before you start working. For example, you cannot move people if you haven't done the manual and handling training, because you need to be fit to accomplish such tasks. Okay, also they will set up an e-learning platform for you where you will need to do so many trainings. This e-learning have a time interval that they expire. Like myself, I've been on maternity leave since last year and I just went back this year, which means throughout 2022, I did not work in my home. So all my e-learnings have expired. Like I have over 30 e-learnings to do. Oh my God. So anyway, you are set up on those e-learning, all those fundamentals of standard of care that you did, you will still do it again once you come into the UK. That is why I always say that care work here in the UK is training on the job. Because it doesn't matter, even if you leave this company that you got the job now and went to another one, those people will still train you. That's number 3 on my list is the DBS, the Disclosure and Barring Service. So this is where they check your background to make sure that you are suitable for the job. My dear, it is police check. This also, it doesn't matter if you leave your job today, you got the job today and left it today. As long as you're moving to another company, that company will run a DBS check on you. So if you can open an online service. So this, if you get a new job, it is faster. You just give them the number, they will check your record. Unlike if you want to do it from afresh, that one takes longer. The second on my list is continual professional development. Apart from the e-learning that I mentioned earlier that has an interval when it expires, we as a care assistant, we learn every day. So you need to have an open mind. Don't be the type that wouldn't like to be giving instruction. You need to be observant, learn and see what others are doing, especially if you're not familiar with the system, so that you can pick up really fast. And apart from that, care assistant job has to do with reflective practice. Like there are some days you go to work, you will do some things that you felt you would have done better. What you're meant to do is to go home, sit down and reflect on it. Write down what you think you did wrong and how you will do better next time. For myself, I have had incidents where I went to work, stress at work. You felt like you didn't manage situations right. So I go home, I'll sit down and be like, okay, if this same thing happened tomorrow, what should I do? What did I do today that wasn't good? How will I make it better? With that, you keep learning and progressing on how you handle situation. Lastly, I will talk about the career progression that is in for you as a care assistant. Guys, you don't limit yourself. If you're working as a care assistant here in the UK, you have opportunity to grow. Now you can do a nursing associate program, you can become a nurse, you can even progress to a managerial role to become a deputy manager if that's what you are interested in. If you're lucky to work in a care home that is willing to enroll you to utilize the apprenticeship program that is available in the UK, perfect, because with that you can study nursing for free while you are still working as a care assistant. Amazing, right? So guys, if you have watched the video up to this point, don't forget to smash the like button. Okay, thank you so much for doing that. hope you found value in this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'll be bringing more informative videos across your way, okay? Watch this my video if you're interested to know care homes that are actively recruiting here in the UK, alright? Until next time, take care, bye.